Now, the question is, why should we make marriage relevant? Well, because without marriage, you cannot build a society. Without marriage, you cannot build a tribe. You cannot build a nation. You cannot build a country. And you cannot build a civilization. Hello, everyone. This is the Psalmist here. Today, I want to speak to you about why we should make marriage relevant again. The question becomes, what does it mean to make marriage relevant? Well, I'm not saying that people should just go out and get married, because that will be a bad thing. You can't just go out and you meet a woman, you get married. That will even give marriage a bad name that it already has now. And I'm not saying that people should post pictures of themselves. I mean, couples should post pictures of themselves, their happiness, and put them on social media. That is not what I mean. What I mean is that actually what I'm saying, I'm directing to people who are already married and to people who are divorced and the people who plan to get married. To the people who are married, what I'm telling them is that they have to make marriage, the institution of marriage, look like something that people would want to do. You see, because everything that people look at, whether they see it on television or on social media or in the streets, if they see any kind of joy in that, they want some of that. If they see any kind of happiness and bliss in that, they want some of that. And I'm no way saying that being married is just gonna be like honey and milk. No, every time there's more than two people involved in anything, things just become a bit difficult. But generally, if people understand what they're doing, they're most likely to be happy in what you're doing, especially if what they're doing is righteous, is good, and it brings joy to their soul. So to those who are married, they have to realize that they are the ones now who have the image of marriage in their own hands because they are married. So it's like when you're endorsing a certain kind of clothing or a clothing label or a sport label. So if you're a sportsman and then you're endorsing Nike, every time you're wearing Nike, you are projecting an image about Nike. That's why some of these labels don't want you to act in a certain way. They want you to be sort of a good role model so that their image will not be associated with somebody who's doing bad things. So in the same vein, married people have the brand of marriage in their hands. You have the brand of marriage before you. And then the people who are mostly going to see whether marriage is a good thing, marriage is something that you can do and really find happiness in. The primary people who are going to be witnesses to this is your children, your sons and your daughters, because they're looking at you. It's not like they're looking at you, like always looking at you. They're just observing normally when a person observes. It's not like they're, focusing on one thing, but they are aware of what's going on around them. So children also are aware of what's going on between their mother and their father. Children are able to see when their mother is miserable, when their father is unhappy, when their father is angry, when their father is happy, when their mother is rejoicing. They can see all these things. But it's just that parents, don't give children enough credit that they can see. They think that children can't see. So sometimes they think that, if you're going to go and argue into the bedroom, then they already see that there's already tension between the two of you. So you can't hide, the body language that you have. The most obvious language is the body language. And if your wife is not happy, the children are able to see that. And when they grow up, they're going to see that, our mother was not happy because of marriage, because of the way our father treated her. Our father was not happy because of marriage, because of the way our mothers treated our father. So because they've seen that marriage is not something that you want to do if you really want to be happy. It's better if you're single, living alone and doing your own thing without sharing anything with anyone. So that is what the image of marriage means, the image that you project as a married person. Then what should married couples do to make marriage relevant, marriage attractive? Is to make each other happy. I mean, it's very obvious that by the time you got married, obviously you must know enough about each other to know what to do to make each other happy. Otherwise, then why did you get married? Because you married this person knowing them and loving what you have seen and loving what you know about them. So it's like now you have to go back as a man and a woman trying to impress one another as if you're not married, as if you're still trying to, make each other agree that yes, let's form a relationship, let's form an institution of marriage, so that we can go through the journey of life together and share our experiences, cry together, laugh together, rejoice together, and rejoice in each other, and support and encourage one another to improve and to become better people. That is what you must do. You must go to serving one another. The man must go out of his way to do things to make the woman happy, to make the woman, first of all, happy as herself. Because sometimes people don't understand that if you love a person, you want to make them happy as themselves. And when they're happy as themselves, that's when they're going to come and respond with a happier response, because they are happy in themselves. Because sometimes a man get it wrong. You can't buy your wife a present, whether it's an anniversary present or a birthday present or whatever present. You can't buy your wife a present which is like a present for the household, like pots or a washing machine or a stove. No, that's not a present for her. That's a present for the house. Buy her a present which is exclusively for her. You're not going to benefit anything from this present. Her children are not going to benefit anything from this present. The present is exclusively for her own joy, for her own happiness. That's how you make a person happy being by themselves. You see, first you make your wife happy as herself, by herself. And second, you make her happy as a wife. So the only way they're going to be happy as a wife is if they are happy by themselves. You see, if I'm a happy man, I'm most likely to be a happy husband. I can't be a happy man while I'm married and not be a happy husband. Because when I'm happy, I'm going to do good. And I'm going to do good to make my wife happy. So my happiness will lead me to do good things. No happy person can do bad things. No happy person can commit suicide. No happy person needs drugs. Because the reason why people do drugs is because they want to be happy. So the reality is currently is not making them happy. So they want to switch off reality by unplugging themselves so that they could find some kind of relief. Do you see that? So when you make your wife happy by herself as a woman, by herself, meaning that you make her happy as a woman, as a female, in the way that she is. And then you start making her happy as a wife, meaning that you make her find joy in being a wife, you see? So that when you're not at home, you're at work and she's at home watching over the household and looking after the kids, she's happy doing it. I mean, she's not even necessarily thinking about you. She's thinking about her her contribution towards this family, her contribution towards raising these kids and making them good kids, making them righteous, disciplined, cultured, Christ-like kids, so that when they grow up and go out into the world, so they can, express the thing that they've learned, they do it correctly. She's happy in that. And then after that, you have to make her happy as your wife. Now, this is specifically making her attached to you to such a point that she always needs you, because you always find ways to make her happy. And then, of course, it's very important, because sometimes, especially when we talk, we just talk about do this, but we don't talk about how you can do it, because it's useless to tell you to do something, not tell you how to do it. Well, like I said, if she's your wife, she married you because you made her happy and you gave her the prospect of a future with happiness, with joy. That's why she agreed to be your wife. So the things that you used to do, the initiative that you used to take, the presents, the going out, the dinners, the jokes, everything that you did to impress her, to make your wife, do it again. And this time, do it more. And then if there's any point in which your wife, feels bad or feels down or feels anxious, you don't start, blaming her and pointing things at her and saying, because I want to know. You pour yourself out more to make her happy. And when you're doing that, that's when she's going to be happy. And when she's happy, she's going to be happy with the kids. And when she's happy with the kids are seeing that. They're seeing that their mother is happy. Their mother is happy as a woman. Their mother is content as a woman. Their mother has joy as a woman. Their mother has joy as a wife. And their mother has joy as a wife. And because of that, your daughters are looking at them. They want that. They think that, marriage is a good thing. I mean, look at how happy my mother was. Women who are saying that men are trash are women who were raised in environments where there was no happiness. It was where the men were abusive and the men were treating the women in a bad way. They were raised in places where the men were not treating the women in a good way. The men were not making the women happy. So they think men are trash because the standard of man which they have is their father. And their fathers were terrible fathers or terrible husbands. Do you see that? And in the very same vein, because it cannot just be a man giving all these things, also the woman, because the most important thing that a woman can do for a man in terms of when the man is trying to woo her is to respond positively. Respond positively is to appreciate, to show gratitude, to show respect to the man. Because the man and the woman have a different interpretation of what love is. A woman thinks that a man loves her when he's doing things for her. He's giving things and he's making things, making her happy. But a man believes that a woman is loving to him when she respects him, when she listens to him, when she makes him feel that indeed he is the man, he is the head of the household. That's how a man feels loved. That's why the Bible says that men must love their wives like their own skin, to protect them, to make them happy, to cleanse them, to give things to them. But women must see to it that they respect their husband. So look, the Bible does not say that a woman must, love her husband like her own skin. No, it says that she must see to it that she respects and submit. So that means that the way that a man will feel loved is when he feels like he is the leader, when he feels like he is the head, when he feels respected and honored. So that's how a woman responds. And when a man is respected and submitted to and followed as the head of the household, he is happy. And when he's happy, he's gonna do more to make the woman happy. And it's like a cycle that keeps repeating itself. And children are looking at this, and children are enjoying this, the way their father treats their mother and the way their mother treats their father. And there's happiness and there's joy, because every time a man makes a woman happy, the woman will make the kids happy. And the kids, when they're happy, the whole household is full of joy. So they will grow up to want to get married. They will grow up to want, if they're daughters or girls, they will grow up to want to meet such a man as their father. If they're girls or they are boys or sons, they will grow up to want to meet a woman such as their mother, because they have the standards of what a woman is and the standard of what a man is. They have the standard of what a husband does, how a husband acts around his wife, and how a wife and what a wife does, and how a wife acts around a husband. So marriage becomes now attractive because the image that people are looking at, especially the people who are the primary, viewers of what marriage is, they see that this is a joyous institution. This is a joyous organization. This is a very joyous unit. I want some of that. Naturally, people want to be happy. No one really does anything for money or for whatever. They believe that as soon as they get this thing which they are chasing after, they're gonna be happy. If they don't become happy, they are most likely to stop and look for another thing which is gonna make them happy. Which is why people cheat, which is why people divorce, is because they're not happy. They were married believing that they were gonna be happy. And when they don't get happiness, they want to quit, because who wants to stay in an unhappy situation? But what should be happiness is that they shouldn't quit. They should look at what is causing their happiness and what make them marry in the first place. What was the cause of the happiness? And because if they know what was the cause of the happiness, they can just repeat it again. Then the unhappiness will go away. So this is for people who are married. They are the ones who have to serve one another, make each other happy, so that marriage can have a good image, especially for the primary viewers, which are their own children. And for people who are planning to get married, because one of the mistakes that we make is that we think that all you have to do is go to school, go to us, get a degree, get a nice job, have good money, have a nice car, a nice house, then you're ready to be a husband, to be a father. But look at that. You prepare to do a job. You go to school, you go through school, primary school, high school, varsity. You are being prepared so that you can do the job correctly. But who has prepared you to be a husband? You see, who has prepared you to be a father? What do you know about marriage? What do you know about the role of a husband in a marriage? What do you know about the role of a wife in a marriage? What do you know about being a mother? You don't have to be a mother to learn how to be a mother. You can't learn the thing while you already have the thing. You see, because that would be wrong. Because if you fail, the child is going to suffer. The family is going to suffer. So you cannot go and get married while you did not prepare yourself. So if you're a young man, a teenager, and you one day want to be married, you have to be prepared. You have to prepare yourself. You have to understand what it means to be married. Yes, speak to men who are married. The same way as when you're starting a business, you speak to men who have been in that business, for that industry for a long time. The same way if you want to be a pastor, you speak to pastors who have been pastoring for a long time. So in the same vein, you must be asking people who have done this for a long time. Speak to the elders, the 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds. Speak to newly married couples. Speak to people who have been married for 5 years, for 10 years. Prepare yourself, you see, so that you at least know, you would know what to expect. You're not gonna be shocked that, what, I'm supposed to serve my wife, I'm supposed to make her happy and find joy in that. I didn't know that. I thought she was supposed to make me happy. And because you didn't know that, but you committed yourself, you're gonna end up wanting to get out of your commitment. You see? And when people are getting out of their commitment, it's because they're showing that they are not happy in their commitment. And when it's marriage, they're showing that they're not happy in the marriage. And then there's more and more people doing that, the image of marriage looks bad. And because it looks bad, no one wants to get married, you see, and no one wants to have a family. People who have children, but they don't have families. You see, it's very important to have a family. Why is it important to have a family? It is only through the family that children will be cultured. It is only through the families that Zulu children could be Zulu. Because where are they going to learn about Zulus if they can't learn it in their own household? It is only through the Russians, that Russians could be Russians. I mean, it is only through a Russian family that the Russian could be Russians. So they're gonna learn the Russian culture in their family. It is only through the family that the Indian family could be Indian, because you're only gonna learn that in an Indian family. You can't learn it in the streets. What you learn on television is not culture, it's pop culture, and pop culture is immoral. You see, that's why children are acting the same way as the people that you're seeing on television, because no one is showing them how they're supposed to act in their own culture. Why? Because they don't come from families, or they come from broken families. You see, look, I'm not saying people, when people interact, whether they are Russian or Zulus or Congolese or Chinese, when people interact at a school, on social media, they're gonna be friends, and friendship can lead to another thing. It could be marriage. So people are gonna intermarry. Even the Bible does show that people did intermarry. Moses married an Ethiopian, and Judah married a Canaanite. You see, David also married the Canaanite. Joseph married. So as long as there's interaction between the peoples, between the nations, between the tribes, there's going to be intermarriages. But the one thing that I have learned is that people always prefer to marry the same people as them. Whether the same people in terms of skin color, in terms of culture, in terms of religion. But that is how people, in most cases, people will prefer to marry people who are similar to them. Because a lot of people believe that it becomes easier. You don't have to learn something new. If you're Zulu, you already know the Zulu culture, so you don't have to learn anything. And you're not gonna say, I don't like that, I like that. So you already are raised in the Zulu culture, so you can be Zulu. So, but what I'm saying is that it is important to have families, because families makes nations survive, makes tribes survive, makes culture and customs survive. It is the family which is gonna make Christianity survive. Without families, without Christian families, Christianity is not gonna survive. Because the best person to teach you is your father and your mother. Because your father and mother may not necessarily stand in front of you in terms of telling you this is this and that is that. They're gonna leave out the things that they believe in, and you see that, and there's happiness in that. You're gonna want some of that. Do you see that? And when you understand that, then you understand why it is important to make family relevant and important again. And I'm not saying people should marry out of that. I'm saying they should understand what it means to be a mother, what it means to be a wife, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a father. And they must learn and prepare themselves to be in those roles, the same way as they learn and prepare themselves to be in the role of a financial manager or a psychologist or a pastor. They must do the same process, prepare themselves to be men, to be husbands, to be fathers, so that when they do get married, they will know what is expected of them. And they must find joy in performing their roles, which is expected of them. And when they do find joy, they cannot be unhappy, because they're doing exactly what they're expected, and they're happy doing what they're expected to do. Do you see that? And when there's happiness, that's when marriage becomes very attractive, and that's when people want to get married and have children, and that's how societies are maintained. That's how tribes and nations are saved. That's how cultures and customs are saved. And that is how the church is gonna be saved, through the family. Without the family, there'll be chaos and there'll be lawlessness. You see that? And then what about the people who are divorced? So, the Bible is not an easy, material to study and understand and completely assimilate it, because you can look at one line and we say that, yeah, you cannot marry a divorced woman. But what happens when a man has already married a divorced woman? So now, is he no longer going, are you going to judge him? Are you going to say that he's not a member of the body of Christ? Are you going to say that he's not a Christian, that he's not a believer? Okay, let's just look at adultery as a sin. Let's just look at by divorcing, you're committing adultery, or by marrying a woman who is divorced, you're committing adultery. Okay, so what about a man now who's married and commits adultery by sleeping with another woman and then repents and goes back to his wife? What does that mean? Does that mean that he cannot be forgiven? Does that mean that he should be cut off from the church? So it's a delicate situation to deal with. That's why sometimes when people hear a pastor speaking about married Christians who have remarried, advising them, and they think that no, he shouldn't even be advising them because they have divorced or they have sinned. So that means that a pastor should not advise anyone who has sinned, especially when they ask so that they don't sin again. You see, so it's very important to try to draw a balance between sinning and being forgiven, and not to rise one sin above the other, saying that no, if you marry a divorced woman, you have sinned, and then something must be done to take away the sin in a way that you must divorce this woman. That means you must commit another sin to take away a sin, which of course does not make any sense. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that to those who have divorced and have remarried, obviously you understand that you must be able now to understand that you married and it didn't work out, and you must always be mindful of what made it not work out. Because the thing that for me, the advice that I'll give to people who are thinking about the divorce, or somebody who finds that their wife cheating on them or their husband cheating on them, it's not even think about divorce. Think about what is causing these people to go out. I mean, what is causing your husband or your wife to go out of your marriage bed, to go out of this institution which you have built together, to find joy somewhere else? What is causing them to do that? When you do know, find out what is causing them, you can be able to see that this is a correctable thing. I can correct this. And if I can correct this, that means that, I can forgive, or she can forgive, you see, or he can forgive. And from that, you can rebuild the marriage again. But if it has already happened that you have divorced and then now you're married again, even though you're Christian, what should be lingering in your mind is that you failed in the first marriage. You terribly failed because it led to a divorce. So how are you going to make sure that you're not gonna make this marriage fail? Do you see that? Because now you already have sort of tainted the image of marriage by divorcing. And I'm not in no way putting you down. What I'm trying to tell you is that through what you have done, marriage has got a bad rap. And now you're married again. That means you may actually do it twice. You see? So what that means is that you should have taken time and learned what is marriage. What is marriage all about? And the only way to really see what marriage is to look at Jesus Christ and the church. Jesus Christ died, and the church sins against Jesus Christ all the time. But Jesus Christ, being God, being loving, being giving, being graceful, always cleansed the church of his sin and pour more of himself to the church, so that the church could now no longer have time to focus on abominations and sins, but only focus on him, who is the Lord Jesus Christ. Did you see that? So you have failed in your first marriage for whatever reason, but in this marriage, you have to make sure that it is your priority to make your spouse happy, and you must find happiness in making your spouse happy. Because if you will wait for outside stimulation to stimulate you to do good for your husband or for your wife, what if nothing happens for a day? That means you're not going to do anything on that day. What if nothing happens for a week? That means on that week you're not going to do anything for your spouse. What if it happens for the whole year? That means the whole year you're either going to be a terrible husband or a terrible wife. Why? Because there's nothing stimulates you externally to do good, to make your spouse happy and find happiness in that. But when you take the initiative and say, I'm going to do something to make my wife happy, and I'm going to find happiness in the deeds that I do in making her happy. See, now your happiness is entirely dependent on what you're going to do. Do you see that? So that's why, for God loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. He loved and he gave. So there was a deed. He didn't love and then wait to see if someone was going to repent, so that he could show the love by expressing it. Because if he didn't show it, no one was going to repent. Because we submit to Christ, we are repentant to Christ because of the love that he has shown us. If God did not ever come here on the earth and show himself or manifest himself as Christ, we wouldn't repent. Who was going to make us repent? Do you see that? So to those who are divorced and married again, they should now be having open minds and open hearts to say, I'm not going to give marriage a bad name again. I'm going to do everything in my power to make my wife or my husband happy, and I'm going to find joy in that. And when you do that, then you are going to regain some of the reputation that you have damaged, not only for yourself, not only for your wife, but also the children can also see. If you have had children in previous marriage, they can also see that while it happened, but it looks like now they have clear understanding what marriage is, and they might reconsider what they were thinking hear about, what marriage is, or whether marriage is an institution where people can find happiness in, or they can find misery in. Do you see that? So it is very important to make marriage relevant, in every culture, in every nation, in every society, in every country. The only reason why you have a society that you have today is because of marriages, because of families, because of family units. And for you to maintain that, for any country to maintain that, they have to be happy marriages, because happy marriages give birth to happy children, and happy children become positive, contributors towards the building of a society, the building of a nation, the building of a tribe, the building of a country. Do you see that? So it's not just about your wife or your husband. There's a lot of stake, but you must aim to make your wife or your husband happy, which of course will trickle down and make your children happy. But there's a lot of stake than that. There's nations at stake, there's societies at stake, there's tribes, there's the whole world's order and peace and law is at stake because of what marriage looks like. You see that? So we have to make it an aim to make marriage relevant and beautiful again. And when we do that, there are so many things that we can benefit from very happy, joyful marriage that you cannot realize. And the sooner people start doing that, the sooner they're going to see the results of happy marriages, the impact of happy marriages in society. I'm telling you, you're going to see great things. So that is all that I have to say about why we must make marriages relevant again. If you like the content that you hear and then you want to hear more, subscribe to my channel, and then you can also click on the bell so that every time I upload a video, you'll be the first to hear. So thank you very much for listening. This has been the Psalmist. Relevant again.